Okay, so in the extremely unlikely event that I'm going to actually get this thing fixed, my dishwasher's flashing a code here when it's got power. I've already cut the power to it. Do that, by the way. Cut the power at the breaker before you go pulling these things out. I was flashing LE, and that's a leak sensor. So, I tried a few things. I tried taking the racks out, and trying to make sure there was no clogs in anything down here. No, that's all good. So, about the only thing I can do here and now is pull the whole thing out and open up the leak sensor pan and try to dry it up really good. If it has a couple of drops of water, it won't work. So, when you're doing that with this particular model, I'll put it in the description, is going to be, there's little explanations there. You get all this stuff going on here. This is in Canada, by the way. I'm not 100% sure these are all going to be the same way in the rest of the world. And, oh, it's over, I don't know where the model number is on this guy. Doesn't matter. I'll look it up later. Put it in the description. It occurs to me that I should probably record this part. You take the panel here off. Oh, kick plate. You got a Phillips head screw. Holds this on. And you got some wires in here. You're going to need to decouple all those if you really want to do anything with this guy. So, take the MAR connectors off. And you can get to the wires. Untwist those from one another, and then you're going to have this bit of wire here that you're going to have to take out. Pretty self-explanatory how. You got a little tightening screw here, you just unscrew that a little ways, and this whole thing will come out. That's if you're undoing it from here. You can undo it from the other end too with the at the box. Depending on what I'm doing, this is slightly easier. Not by much though. There is no easy way. Unless you're really smart and you give yourself lots and lots of slack on your electric wire, do that. Okay, now we're down here in the basement. As you can see, we have a water line, we have a drain hose. Now, don't do what I've done here. This was kind of this way when I got here. It's real stupid. I wouldn't have done this, but I'm not the guy that originally architected all this crap, so oh well. Now, drain hose is going to be real gross. There's a few different ways you can connect this. You can connect it from, you can disconnect it from up in there. I don't want to. It's a pain in the butt. So, I've come over here. I have hit the shut-off valve for the water. There's going to be some water. There's going to be quite a bit of water coming out of here. But I am going to probably disconnect it from right there, because that's not a whole lot harder to get to than where I really want to. And the drain hose I can just disconnect from the middle here. That's going to be kind of gross, but I've already ran a few extra cycles of water through, so it should get all the crud out for the most part when it was draining. We'll see. There's still going to be some water in there. There's always some water in there. It's kind of awful. That's kind of the problem with doing this, with it having this downward arcing loop. It's because there's always going to be some water sitting in here, no matter what. And it tries to push it all out, but I mean, it can't. That's just not how it works. There's not suction on the other end of this thing to pull the water through. But that's what I got handy-dandy buckets down here for. So basically, you just disconnect that by pinchy, and then I got the camera on it. And that is just a little twisty. And then when you're done with that, you have lots of slack for lots of cabling once the water drains out. And then you can pull your dishwasher out a little bit. Okay, now I've got a couple of play mats. I pulled it out of there now with a little slack there. And I got a couple of play mats under it on that side, and kind of my floor there. Well, carpet rather. Whatever you call it. That's what I got. Anti-fatigue mat. But this is kind of the bottom of it. Now, you do have to turn it like this. I'm probably going to, when I put this back, grab me a piece of tape And you just tape this in place so I don't run it over. You really don't want to pinch this cord. If you do that, you're going to have a bad day. You do have a little foot back here, by the way. That is for leveling it. It's a couple feet here for leveling it. You pretty much have it level, that's fine. There is water coming out, by the way. That's going to happen. It's got water in it. You're going to mop. Deal with it. Now, if you look at the bottom of the pan here, somewhere around neighborhood here is going to be where your leak sensor and all that is. That's where the water's giving you the trouble. Now, this isn't to fix necessarily, but this is to check your leak sensor. You're going to have to undo a couple of screws. I'm going to do that and see what we got. Alright, yeah, 2 screws later, a little careful pulling. You know, you don't want to reef on it real hard or anything, but... So you got all your motor and electronics and stuff in here, right? You don't want water getting in there if there's a leak, right? I mean, you don't want it on your floor, but you really don't want it on your motor and all your different parts here. That would be really bad, right? So to prevent disaster, Samsung, and pretty much everybody else, this is a Samsung, have a handy-dandy little leak sensor in here. Now, the problem with this leak sensor is that it's calibrated to be really quite tough. Hey, look at that, a little bug got in there somehow or other. He's been dead for a while. We're just gonna get rid of him. Yeah, he's dead. But problem is, your leak sensor here, she's sensitive. It doesn't take much water, and then the newer ones, it actually takes even way less. So your water kind of leaks here. It sort of flows in from a few different locations. This one looks like it was leaking from here, pouring in this way, which correlates to something over here leaking down into it. What exactly? I'm not real sure. But given the location, it's not kooky to imagine that it's either this hose or one of its connections, or my drain hose here being the problem. I can't really be certain, but you know what? That is in there loose, and that's no good. We'll have to fix that when we... Let's see, there's supposed to be a tab that comes back out of there. So that's no good. We'll have to fix that before we're all said and done. But if I'm going to fix the leak rather than just dry up the leak sensor, that's a good place to start. It doesn't look like it would be leaking from here, because that would have started somewhere over in this area here, or at least over here. Looks like it's right at this corner, which means it's right about here somewhere that it's coming in. So I'm going to start there and kind of work my way back. Just FYI, I mean, take those screws out. This is your leak sensor. It's basically got 4 little contacts here. And if there's enough water that makes that a complete circuit, that's what trips your sensor. It's pretty ingenious, isn't it? Anyway, you want to make sure those contacts are clean too. That's the thing. Alrighty. So here's the last of it. Now that we've got this back together, and I sort of skipped this on the first part, but you do want to re-screw your anchors back in. Just to make this thing nice and sturdy. When you're done with it, we've rehooked the electricity back up. We have rehooked water back up. Had a little leak that kind of took care of itself, so I'm going to monitor that for the next couple of days, but no more nonsense. No, we're not going to let that run just yet, because I want to run a round of bleach through the thing, and that's about it. I might put some vinegar in there actually first, just to clean it up pretty good. That might work out okay. But otherwise, yeah, she works real good. But FYI, I am not a repairman. I've never claimed to be a repairman. I used to sell these things, though, and I've had to fix quite a few of them at this point. This one, yeah, more than once. Never for a leak, though. So that was new. But yeah, that's how you fix this particular model. Adios. Alrighty. So here's the last of it. Now that we've got this back together, and I sort of skipped this on the first part, but you do want to re-screw your anchors back in. Just to make this thing nice and sturdy. When you're done with it, we've rehooked the electricity back up. We have rehooked water back up. Had a little leak that kind of took care of itself, so I'm going to monitor that for the next couple of days, but no more nonsense. No, we're not going to let that run just yet. So I want to run a round of bleach through the thing. And that's about it. I might put some vinegar in there actually first, just to clean it up pretty good. That might work out okay. But otherwise, yeah, she works real good. FYI, I am not a repairman. I've never claimed to be a repairman. I used to sell these things though, and I've had to fix quite a few of them at this point. This one, yeah, more than once. Never for a leak though. So that was new. But yeah, that's how you fix this particular model. Adios.